Okay, welcome to the video, guys. Today we're going to be going over the Euphona Prime. In this series, we take weapons and we build them out, and then we test them on their own merits in Steel Path Kuva Survival and Steel Path Lewis Survival Conjunction. Or Conjunction Survival, rather. We don't mix the weapons with Warframe abilities or pet abilities or anything like that. We just test the weapons on its own merits. Thanks, Flugan. And welcome, Trixie. All right, so we're going to be going over the Euphona Prime here. Now, the Euphona Prime is a secondary weapon. It's a revolver that has a 5-shot magazine. It's like a heavy revolver. You know, it does a lot of damage per shot. But at the end of the day, it's a pretty average or below average weapon. So I feel like I'm probably going to struggle with this, not because of the build, just because the weapon itself is kind of meh. But I'm going to show you how best to build this weapon out anyway, just in case you want to build it out. So the weapon does have a unique trait where if you alt fire, it's a buckshot weapon instead of a heavy pistol. I'm not going to be using that alternate fire mode. I'm going to be using the primary fire. I feel like it's pretty weak in that mode. I mean, it's pretty weak in primary fire also, but I think its primary fire is a little bit stronger. So as the first mod, we're going to choose Galvanized Diffusion, like mostly always, for multi-shot. Galvanized Crosshairs for critical chance. Prime Pistol Gambit and Target Cracker for crit chance, crit damage. Lethal Torrent for fiery multi-shot. Hornet Strike for flat damage. Magnum Force for flat damage. And Primed Heated Charge for, honestly, more flat damage. I've tested, there's another option you could put on this. Let me type it in here. It's called Sharpened Bullets. And this weapon has high critical, but very, very low status. I mean, like 2%. So you're really not going to, even though I have Prime Heated Charge on here, you're really not going to see any fire procs. And I thought changing Sharpened Bullets for Prime Heated Charge, it would, I would see an increase in DPS, but I actually saw a decrease. I think Prime Heated Charge just gives so much more flat damage that the weapon is already kind of, struggling with. That Sharpened Bullets didn't really put it past where I wanted it. So I ended up putting back on Prime Heated Charge. So, but that is something, if you build this weapon out, just keep in mind that Sharpened Bullets is it's an option if you want to test it on a few of these other things to you can. I don't feel like it's going to beat them out though. I think this is the proper way to build this. Now for the Exilus slot, we're going to go with Targeting Subsystems. And this is to mitigate what Magnum Force does, which is it gives us flat damage, but it also decreases our accuracy. Now, at medium range, you're not going to notice that much of a difference with accuracy. At long range, you will, but you're not really going to be using this weapon at long range. And with Targeting Subsystems, it does help to mitigate the negative that you get from here. Secondary Deadhead is going to be our flat damage Arcane. We're going to be going for headshots. It's going to increase our headshot multiplier as well. And that is about it for the build here. Again, keep in mind, super low status, so you don't want to be putting any kind of crazy statuses on here. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this into a Kuva Survival. We're going to do about 10 minutes there. We're going to test it on Trash and the Acolytes. And then after that Kuva Survival, we'll take it through a Lua Conjunction where enemies start at a little bit higher. They start at 180 to 200 Steel Path. And we're going to see how far it gets there. Weaker weapons usually will fail in the first 5 minutes of Lua Conjunction just because you have Thoraxes and Acolytes spawning at about the same time. And I suspect this weapon will probably fail in that first 5 minutes. And just to show, I'm doing this on an Inaros with no Archon Shards. That way nothing's affecting the weapon. No mods that affect weapon damage. No Arcanes that affect weapon damage. And a pet with no weapon, that way I'm not getting extra statuses, and no mods that affect weapon damage. That way we can just solely check the Euphona's greatness. Or lack of greatness, probably. So we'll queue up the Kuva Survival here, and we'll get into it. Hey, Pody.
Scans show Grenier are harvesting Kuva nearby. Set off the alarms to draw them out.
I'm going to cast my 4 to double my armor, and then that'll be the last time I use an ability. If I do have to drop an ammo pad if I'm having ammo issues, I'll make sure to say it.
Life support capsules. Use these to sustain your environment or attach Kuva catalysts to begin harvesting.
So this is going to one-shot a lot of the Steel Path enemies if you get a headshot. So, you know, it's not an absolutely horrible weapon. It just has a very low magazine, so you're going to spend a lot of your time reloading. And when you don't get a headshot, it's going to be a little bit painful. You know, it's going to go from a one-shot to, you know, a 3, 4, 5 shot a lot of times. And as you can see, even though it one-shots enemies to the head, it's so slow with, you know, only having 5 shots in the magazine and having to reload that it's you're quick to get overwhelmed by groups of enemies here. So if I wasn't playing, you know, an immortal Warframe like a Naros, I'd probably be dead by now. I can't exactly remember how much damage this is going to do against the Acolyte. I haven't used this in a while. I think it's going to do pretty badly against the Acolyte, but I guess we'll see. Sometimes high damage, high crit weapons do well against the Acolyte, so it might do okay. But we'll see when he comes. No, you guys are doing great. I really appreciate you guys watching. I'm still new at this, so a lot of these videos are kind of rough. I'm hoping to, you know, get better as I kind of learn editing and stuff. Twitch is a little bit easy because you could just, you know, plop it on and people just come in and watch. But like the YouTube video thumbnails took me a long time to get my latest thumbnail, which I still don't think is perfect. I'll do this alternate fire here for a bit, just so you can see it. It's a shotgun there. You can probably build this like to focus on the alternate fire. You know, the way I've built it focuses on the primary fire mode. You could probably build this to make the shotgun a bit better than it is, but I feel like the primary fire mode's a lot better than the shotgun. So you need some life support here. I'm going to run to the first set and probably have to hit all 3 of them. Of course, the first set is in this little maze of Kuva survivalness. $65. This will put us at 95. So we have an Eximus in front of us here, and I've also probably lost my stacks of scope at this point, so it's not going to do very good damage. I need to kill a few little guys so I can get my my scope stacks back up. We're probably going to see the Acolyte spawning pretty soon. As you can see, it does very poor damage against the Eximus unit there. Actually going to move towards this first set of, or the second set of life supports here. We'll try to Congo line these enemies over. Just because this weapon's going to kill very slowly, so I'm not going to be getting a lot of the yellow life supports. I'm going to have to focus on getting these big life supports. And the next 2 life supports will probably spawn in like this area here, which is fine, because we'll fight the Acolyte over here. So here comes the Acolyte. We'll make sure our stacks are up, so let's kill a few little guys first. That way we can get a good view on what it does to the Acolyte. I'm a little bit scared of what's going to happen here with Torment. Okay, so there he is. Stacks are up. Let's see. It's doing okay damage. It's just that having only 5 shots, if you miss a shot or 2, it really hurts only getting like, 2 or 3 shots into him. Alright, so that's the Acolyte gone. So, a little bit painful to fight the, you can hear me button pressing. Yeah, I do need to fix my, sensitivity on my microphone. I have to figure that out a little bit better. It's usually not the button pressing that's the worst. It's like my weird mouth noises that I sometimes make, so I apologize. That's why on Discord I'm usually push to talk, but this is open mic'd here. So with this weapon, it's kind of a mixture of things that make this weapon below average. It's the horrible magazine size, and you can have weapons that have a bad magazine size, but they need to maybe do AoE damage, which this one doesn't do. They need to guarantee one-shots, which this doesn't always do. Let's get this life support here. So we have no more life supports on the map, and we still need to get through 2.5 minutes. So let's try to kill a bunch of little guys and see if we can get some yellow life supports popping up. So I'm trying every day to pick one weapon that I think is going to do well, and one weapon that I think is going to do bad. And this was definitely the one I thought was going to do bad. So after this video, we'll do the Kuva Comb, which I think is going to do a lot better. So we have a life support spawning up here, but it's not spawned yet. I'm getting stuck on everything. I'm going to head to it and hope. If not, this will be the first time I can't make it 10 minutes into the Kuva survival. Two, one, and that might be it. Yep. All right, so we'll head to extraction, and then we're going to queue up the Lua conjunction, and we'll see how it does there. Although I don't think it's going to do well if I couldn't even make it to 10 minutes with this. Because Lua conjunction is a lot harder. So we're at 167 kills, less than 10 minutes. About 9 minutes, we're at 167, which is pretty bad. Like, a lot of the average weapons have gotten to, like, 400-ish, and this hasn't even hit half of that.
A valuable lesson.
All right, we'll queue up that Lua conjunction, and I will likely fail in the first 5 minutes. It's going to be Circulus. Enemies are 180 to 200. This is the highest steel path you can queue up.
Accept your death, and you may yet avoid it.
Pop this. I'm going to cast my 4 to double my armor, and that'll be the last time I use an ability. If I have to use an ammo pad, I'll make sure I say it. Lua Conjunction's also going to give us a little bit of a mixture of enemies, which is nice, because the other one is just Grineer, so you don't always get the best testing on just Grineer. So what happens in Lua Conjunction is that at the 5-minute mark, Thraxes are going to spawn. And the Acolytes are on a 3 to 8 minute spawn timer. So, like, you know, their average is 5 minutes. So what happens at the 5-minute mark here is usually you have the Thraxes and the Acolytes spawning at about the same time. Thraxes are always going to be at 5 minutes, but that Acolyte is usually at, like, you know, 4 minute and 30 seconds or 5 minute and 30 seconds. So you're kind of fighting them both at the same time. So you need a weapon that can deal with larger enemies somewhat quickly. Because in Lua Conjunction, when the Thraxes are spawned, they suck life support. So, you know, your life support in a survival goes down normally anyway, but while the Thraxes are up, it goes down even quicker. So, like, their main priority when they come up. I'm going to hit a life support here. Might even have to hit 2. I don't want to waste any, so... We're at 70. I am going to hit 2. That'll put us at like 96% once it hits. Yep, 96. And we'll go back to killing the little guys and trying to get the smaller yellow life supports to spawn. I used this weapon a lot when I was playing Hydroid for a while. I was trying to get like a pirate-themed secondary. I thought like a big, heavy hand cannon would be cool for him. But I was just struggling with how bad it was for him, so I had eventually moved away from it. I like trying to theme my Warframes, but sometimes, you know, the themed weapons are so weak you can't really afford to use them. Let's kill these shield guys here before they buff everyone up. And again, because of this weapon's slow fire rate and slow reload and low magazine size, you're really punished if you don't get headshots. Or if it takes too long, like there, 5 shots and that guy's not gone. Now, normally these guys will die in 1 hit, but if you lose stacks, they're going to take multiple shots. I'm going to head over to the the second set of life supports here. Pink and purple, yeah, that's that's you, Pepper, yeah. Pepper said for Valentine's Day, I should make a pink and purple Naros. So I'm going to head over to this life support here. And we're going to probably hit it right now. And we're going to hope that the enemies get here pretty quick so I can start farming the yellow life supports from them. Got a few spawning here. Okay, so we have the Acolyte coming. Make sure we're at full stacks. If we can kill the Acolyte quick, we can focus on Thraxes, but I don't know how quick I'll be able to kill this guy. We'll probably have to focus on Thraxes in the next 5 seconds. Staggered, staggered. Yep. Switch over to Thraxes. And it's going to do very poor damage against them. It feels kind of like it was against the Eximuses. The Thraxes are a little bit different than the Acolytes. I feel like this weapon actually does better against the Acolytes than it does against the Thraxes. So we're at 26% life support. There's a life support coming into the map pretty soon. But I don't really foresee this getting past this point. I think we'll probably fail here. Yep. All right. I'll stay here for, so we're at 5 minutes, 50 seconds. We're at 100 kills, which is really poor. I'll stay here for a little bit longer and see if I can kill these Thraxes and just kind of show how it does against them. But if it gets a little bit too painful, I'll just leave them up and I'll go to extraction. Which I think it might be a little painful. You know, you're going to be losing stacks, too, when you fight big guys. You're going to want to switch to little guys once in a while just to get your stacks up, then go back to the big guy. Thanks, Savvy. I will kill at least one of these Thraxes before I leave. I don't think I will stay here for the second Thrax and the Acolyte kill, though. There we go. I am going to head to extract and run away heroically. So this weapon's a very weak weapon. It is Steel Path viable. I mean, it will kill Steel Path enemies. It'll one-shot like trash. It does okay against the Acolyte, but it's just a weak Steel Path weapon. It's a very weak Steel Path weapon. Definitely like below average and in the bottom of the below average tier. Oh yeah, Barry. I was wondering who else was doing the Lua dudes, because I was popping in like 200 at a time, and then I would come on and be like, wow, there's like 1,000 in here now. It's like someone else is like pumping out these Thraxes. So we're gonna go over that Euphona build one more time. Again, it's a weak weapon. I wouldn't suggest spending a lot of forma and time into this, but if you want to, here's the build. So it's the Euphona secondary weapon. It's going to be galvanized diffusion for multi-shot, Galvanized Crosshairs to increase your crit chance. Pistol Gambit and Target Cracker, or the primed versions if you have them, for crit chance, crit damage. Lethal Torrent for fire rate multi-shot. Hornet Strike for flat damage. Magnum Force for some more flat damage. Primed Heated Charge for, yet again, some more flat damage. And targeting subsystem in the Exilus slot just to mitigate the accuracy loss that you get from Magnum Force. We're going to have secondary Deadhead in the Arcane slot to increase headshot multiplier and for flat damage. So that's the build for the Euphona Prime. I'm going to end the stream here, and then I'm going to come back up in about like 5 minutes with the next weapon I'm doing, which is going to be the Kuvacomb. The Kuvacomb should be a lot better than this one. So I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much.